Hello everyone, thanks for joining me at the Solo Gamers Club. This is Keith, and tonight we'll take a look at an expansion for a game I featured on the channel a few months ago, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the board game. This expansion is called Friends and Frenemies, so let's see what comes in the box. And we get a rule book, and let's see what's included. The game's going to come with an expansion rulebook, which we're reading, a sideboard, and some standee bases. In addition, we've got 56 new cards, an artifact card, 6 new item cards, 12 plot cards, 36 military action cards, and a werewolf card. Our punch board components consist of 2 big bad boards. We got 2 new big bads to oppose. They're standees, and 6 character boards. We've got 6 new characters. And they're standees, an initiative base board token, and 10 soldier tokens. All right. So these are the punch boards. We got some new characters. We've got Riley Finn, Faith, Tara, and one of my favorites, Oz, Daniel Osborne. And then we've got Anya and Dawn Summers. All right, and our new big bads are going to be Dark Willow and Spike and Drusilla. All right. Sadly, we have no Cordelia. That is a disappointment to me. She was probably my favorite character on the show. And it looks like we're going to have our new sideboard, the Sunnydale Outskirts. Well, let's see what that looks like when matched up with the main board. The new board is placed to the right of the existing City of Sunnydale board, and that's going to give us an extra 5 different locations to explore. Let's take a look at those. Well, we've got Miller's Woods. After monster activation, if there are no demons here, add 1 demon to the location. Then we have a military compound. Remove 2 soldiers from 1 location or 1 soldier from 2 locations. Then we have Overland Charters. Swap your character for any unused character and search for their starting item. Interesting. Then we have Kingman's Bluff. Slay any 2 baddies. Okay, that's a powerful location. And finally we have Sunnydale Port. Move any 1 character to any location. Then at the bottom of the box, we've got some standees and a deck of cards. Let's see what those are all about. First up is a deck of military action cards. Here's an example of one of them. A soldier assaults Summer's residence. A soldier assaults Magic Box. And move 1 soldier towards the nearest demon. From what I understand, after an event card from the base game is drawn, we have to draw 1 card from the military action deck. Let's see what other cards are in here. Another one is a soldier assaults the bronze, a soldier assaults UC Sunnydale, and then if there is currently at least 1 soldier sharing a location with a character, add 1 wound token to the apocalypse track. So we'll get some variable events from the military action deck. Then we have 1 new artifact and 6 new items that will be shuffled into the standard decks. Artifact is Class Protector Award. Each time you perform a move action or use your special ability, you may check an Ankh or Pentagram. If you succeed, rescue all townies and soldiers in your location. That's pretty powerful. Let's see what the item cards involve. Those are the Rabbit's Foot. Gives you a new action. Fight to rescue 1 townie or soldier in your location. Has a discard effect. During your turn, you may discard this card to rescue 1 townie or soldier in your location without using an action. And all the item cards are Rabbit's Feet, and that will be shuffled into the base game decks. And we have a werewolf card, and I'm assuming that that's going to be for Oz. Oz was a werewolf. And gives him a couple of actions here. Fight to slay one baddie in your location, and a special, perform a move action and 2 fight actions in any order, then check for the all-seeing eye. If successful, flip the card. You cannot perform use or search actions. You cannot rescue townies, so when he's in that werewolf condition. Otherwise, it's the human form of Oz. Card has no effect unless flipped to the werewolf side. All right. And then we have 6 plot cards, each for Dark Willow and Spike and Drusilla. So we'll see some of these. Got Dark Willow plot. At the end of each round, each character discards 1 tome item, if possible. And then the item requirements, as we have in the standard game. And these are the Spike and Drusilla cards. Plot. At the end of each round, each player discards 1 wooden stake card, if possible. All right. The new game board comes with a new track. It's called the Capture track. And that will work hand in hand with a new mechanic with soldier tokens. Soldiers can hunt demons and can even attack the characters. If they capture 6 demons, the game is lost. So if that track gets filled up with demons, we lose the game. The expansion comes with an overlay that we're going to use on the existing game board, and that's called the Initiative Base. There's a location on the main board called Initiative Base, and when we're playing with this expansion, we're going to use this overlay on that location that will change its abilities. We can take 2 weapons from the item deck and then reshuffle, or remove 1 demon from the capture track, and that's the ability, our ability to mitigate that capture track. So that location, the initiative base on the original board, will become much more important. And so we're going to place this overlay for initiative base, and that's going to change its capabilities. Now we'll take a look at our new big bads. First up is Dark Willow. All right, let's see what her capabilities are. It says at the end of each round, for each clue token on the game board, remove 1 magic supplies item card in the discard or the item deck from play. If all 6 magic supply item cards are removed from the game is lost. It's a tough one. Then we've got when Dark Willow reveals herself. Place her in the magic box. Then check pentagram for every character that has a magic supplies item card. For each success, turn 1 wound on the apocalypse track into a townie. When Dark Willow is the big bad, Willow Rosenberg cannot be used as a character. And then she has some special abilities with an Ankh. Add a townie to the apocalypse track, or choose 1 character to permanently lose 1 basic action token. For the all-seeing eye, each character discards 1 magic supplies item card if possible. And then finally with the pentagram, add 1 wound token to the apocalypse track for each character that has a magic supplies item card. And her flavor text reads, stricken with grief and mad with power, Dark Willow attempts to use the effigy of the demon Prospexa to bring about the end of the world. And then we have Spike and Drusilla. And their abilities are at the end of each round. For each clue token on the game board, a vampire lurks at a location containing an unprotected townie, if possible. When Spike and Drusilla reveal themselves, place them in Angelus's mansion. Then check for every character for each success. That would be the all-seeing eye. Add 1 wound token to the apocalypse track. When Spike and Drusilla are the big bad, Spike cannot be used as a character. Right. And their special abilities are with an Ankh, add a townie to the apocalypse track, or choose 1 character to permanently lose 1 basic action token. For the all-seeing eye, each character discards 1 wooden stake item card if possible. And then with the pentagram, each character sharing a location with a demon takes a wound. And their flavor text reads, caught in a twisted love triangle, Spike and Drusilla attempt to turn Angel back into Angelus, their former leader, terrorizing Sunnydale in the process. All right, those look like two interesting big bads. Then we have our new characters. We've got Faith Lahane. She'll start in the City Hall with a wooden stake. And her special ability is the Big Hurt. Slay all baddies in your location. Then, if there are any townies in your location, we would check a symbol with an Ankh or an all-seeing eye. If successful, kill one townie in your location. Okay. And her special text reads, if doing violence to vampires upsets you, I think you're in the wrong line of work. All right, that's Faith. Then we have Riley Finn. He's going to start at the initiative base with one weapon item. His special ability is Taser Blaster. Rescue all townies and soldiers in your location. All right. And his flavor text reads, what kind of girl is going to go out with a guy who's acting all Joe regular by day and then turns all demon hunter by night? Next up is Daniel Osborne. He's going to start at the bronze with one cross item. His special ability is Lycanthropy. Flip the werewolf card over. Passive ability, start the game with the werewolf card human side up. And his flavor text reads, I'm going through some changes. Then we have Tara McClay. She's going to start at UC Sunnydale with one magic supplies item. And her special is Inspirational. Turn up to 2 townies on the apocalypse track into wounds. Well, that's very powerful. And she has a fight ability to slay one baddie in your location if you have magic supplies. And her flavor text is, we're witches. We know stuff. And then we have Buffy's sister, Dawn Summers. She's going to start in the Summers residence with a rabbit's foot item. And her special is the key. Move all baddies in adjacent locations to your location. And her flavor text is, ooh, scary vampires. They die from a splinter. And finally we have Anya Jenkins. She's going to start in the magic box with one tome. Her special ability is Vengeance. Reveal the top 3 cards of the event deck and return them to the top of the deck in any order. That's pretty powerful. And her flavor text is, everyone is so considerate today. I should have slaughtered people weeks ago. All right, and that completes the preview of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the board game expansion, Friends and Frenemies. I'm definitely going to be bringing this to the channel with a new playthrough using the expansion. I think the elements that it comes with look very interesting. I think it's going to add to the flair of the game quite a bit. So this will complete my Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the board game collection. I was happy to be able to still get the Friends and Frenemies expansion. But before we go, I'm going to show you one other item that I've got in my Buffy collection. And this is a game that I purchased at K&B Toys many, many years ago. I believe it was in the late 90s. It's a Milton Bradley game called Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the game. And this game is exceptionally good for a Milton Bradley title. They've included quite a bit of strategy into this game, and let's take a quick look at this. Now this game required a little bit of assembly, but at least if I remember correctly, and it's a pretty interesting game. Take a look at the rule book. This game is actually surprisingly good and has quite a bit of components involved into it, and some of them are pretty interesting. We had to assemble our phases chart, I remember, and the stands. It came with 4 big bads: the Master, the Judge, the Mayor, and Adam. The game comes with 4 characters. We've got Willow Rosenberg, Xander Harris, Buffy herself, and Oz. And of course, Oz can be Werewolf Oz. And then each of the characters can also be in their alternate form: Vamp Willow, Vamp Xander, and Vamp Buffy. Game comes with some cards, and I remember in the day I had to contact Milton Bradley to get some replacement cards. There had been changes to the cards that were not included in this game, and I was able to acquire those from Milton Bradley. We've got artifact cards, research cards, help cards, evil cards, and weapons. I remember I had to assemble the dice. You had to put on these stickers onto the dice, and these are pretty neat. It's kick, jab, you've got a bite, punch, stake, pretty interesting, a blank, and then some other dice here, black die, some yellow ones for magic, and some blue ones that will control the sunlight. Now this is definitely not a solo friendly game, but I might do a preview of this just to let the viewers kind of see what happens with this. This is the display for the big bad, and he has a spot on here for evil cards that he can play against the Scoobies. We've got our game board. We'll lay that out next. Here's the game board. At the center of the board is this raised platform. You stick it onto some clips that come through the bottom of the board. And this is our moon tracker. And it comes with this Buffy, pewter Buffy token, and that's the cycles of the moon, which has an effect obviously on the vampires. Around this are the spaces for research cards, help cards, weapons, and evil cards. And then you see the different various locations around that you would have seen in the television series. There's sewers that you can travel through and tunnels, and they've done a pretty good job on this to make this game more than just a roll and move type of thing. And pretty much with the inclusion of these help cards, in addition to the 4 actual player tokens that we'll put with stands, you can also bring into play other of the characters that you would have seen in the series, like Kathy, Vamp X, Spike, Faith and Bad Faith, Veruca, and Werewolf Oz, and Angel, Angelus, Drusilla, Harmony, Mr. Trick, and Darla. I love Darla. And then for each of the big bads, we have their own card that shows how many fight dice and magic dice they have. The judge and the master, Adam, and the mayor. And each have their own corresponding tokens that you put on stands. And then to finish up, we'll just take a quick look at some of the cards. You've got help cards, which feature different characters in the game: Tara, Rupert, Devin, Amy Madison, Anya, Joyce Summers. And, so basically everyone that is in the show is represented in one form or another in the game, which is kind of nice. And then you've got research cards, a sewer map, garlic, living flame, spell phases, spell of disappearance, spell of healing. And then there are artifact cards: Mark of the Anointed, Moonstone, military costume, Balthazar's amulet. And then there are weapons cards: explosives, broken shovel handle, a tree branch, and they even have, if I'm not mistaken, Kendra's wood stake, sledgehammer. So some neat things. And then finally we have the evil cards, which are used by the big bad, and Summon Eclipse, Sire of Vampire, Sewer Crawl, Summon Harmony, etc. And what you do is during a turn, the player can move, play cards, draw a card, attempt to recover an artifact, trade cards or fight. And you're going to have these, the board are going to be on their stands, and you can move them around and attempt to engage in combat with the enemy tokens, etc. And there's rules for just about everything that you'd expect. Entering a private home, what happens at sunrise, siring a vampire, rules for restoring angel or a sired vampire soul, rules for Veruca. I mean, so the game is pretty detailed, and for its day and age, I think the game came out in, I believe it was 2000. So I probably purchased the game in 2000 or 2001, and you know, that's already 24, 23 years ago. But pretty interesting game, and I just figured I would give the viewers a quick look at this. So that'll about wrap this video up. Thanks for joining me at the Solo Gamers Club, and I hope to see you again next time for another video. In the meantime, have a nice evening. Good night.